Hello everyone, this is Bennyhillz back with another vintage cube draft. One thing I want to note before I start is that there's a bit of a delay between the videos I post and when I'm recording. So as of now, I've posted 4 videos. There's 2 videos that are getting edited, one of which will hopefully come out tonight, and the other one maybe tomorrow or the day after. So um, if I respond to your comment or something and then it's not in the next video, that's why there's a delay. I do want to really thank everyone who has left comments on my videos with feedback or support. I definitely am trying to incorporate everyone's feedback. So right now, for example, I'm working on getting a mic, and on my last video that was posted, I asked if people liked me to do a sort of really in-depth analysis or sort of pick a little bit more quickly and then skip to the next part. And I think it was unanimously everyone said they liked the heavier analysis. So I'll definitely keep doing that. I really like doing that. It's honestly one of my favorite parts of the drafts, but I didn't want to do that if it made it too tedious. But it sounds like at least most people don't feel that way, so definitely more than happy to keep doing that. Um, yeah. After the trophy that I got that I just recorded, which will be my 6th video that comes out, I got 2 more trophies in a row, which is pretty sweet. Last night, so got a little trifecta there. Nothing like Caleb getting at 7, which is very impressive. But then unfortunately that fell this morning, so I'm not still on that undefeated run. Hopefully we can start up another one this draft. One of those trophies was one of the rare 10s I give. As people who watch a couple of my videos may know, I rate my decks 1 to 10 before I do the draft and before I sort of have that result. And I have not given many 10s, but I did give a 10 to this one. It had Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Duress, Grizzlebrand, pretty much every single Reanimator card. There was a couple on the board because I had so many. There was no Entomb, but other than that, also Dark Ritual, and 2 Moxen, including Mox Jet. So really the perfect Reanimator deck. Thought it was going to be 6-0, ended up dropping 1 game, but did get the 3-0 at least, and so hopefully we can end up with something that sweet again. Yeah, that was an Entomb short of being an 11 out of 10. Like, really a perfect deck. Alright, here we go. Hopefully we get some power. No power. So I would say here it's really between Mana Leak and Steam Vents. There's not this is a fairly weak pack outside of that. I think Uro's a good card. Walking Ballista is consistently risen in my rankings so far, but still we're not first picking it. Chandra is a pretty solid Planeswalker that works well in a control deck or mono red. But I do think these are probably the 2 best cards. Blue-red is a great color combination, so picking up a great dual end is a good place to start. And then I think Manleak is the card we're going to go with. It's a great card, just cheap interaction. It's good against a very wide variety of threats. And it's secretly, counterspells are usually a 2-for-1 or something like that because, I mean, say you're counting like a natural order or someone, cracks their Black Lotus to play some big spell. Or it's Storm and they sort of ritual, Yogg-Will. And so a lot of the times their sort of whole hand is building up towards one big finish. And so Mana Leak is great at stopping that. Would like the Steam Vents, but this is also the only mono blue card in the pack, so it sends a good signal. Like, the person who are left will pretty much know that we're drafting mono blue, or drafting blue. So, there's the Deceiver Exarch. Blue-Red Twin is a great deck, but we did just pass a Steam Vents, so it's pretty likely that someone is going to be drafting Blue-Red, and Twin is a sort of natural place to go with that. There is Riftwing Cloudskate as just a good blue card. LSV in particular is very high on this card, and I do think it's good, but it's generally better in more sort of tempo-y decks that are playing to the board and pressuring the opponent. And I'm not really sure that Mana Leak doesn't really push us in that direction, and also that's sort of best in blue-red where you play turn 4 P and Kiran Alara, then turn 5 your Riftwing comes in and you can make a big attack. And if we're not going to be in blue-red, which I don't think we are, then that becomes worse. Through the Breach is good, but again, really good in blue-red. There's a Thalia, and we could sort of just switch directions and go with that. But I've done a lot of mono white lately, and I do really like Fallen Shinobi. So it is also just a great card. So I think we're going to go with a Shinobi here. Sort of see if we can get some sweet blue-black stuff. Okay. This is also a good card to pick early because you can prioritize things that can get in hits, like Vendilion Click and things like that. Coalition Relic is an amazing card. Definitely the best first pick in this pack. Just very flexible, fixes your mana super well. Great card. There's a Recurring Nightmare, but I think we should go with a Remand. Also, if we take in the Uro, we could go with the Breeding Pool. But yeah, this is just like, we have a mana leak already. This is setting up really well to have just like great 2-mana interaction. Again, like it sort of sends a signal that blue is being drafted. So I think this is where we want to be. Okay. Again, I mean, good blue card. This also pairs particularly well with counter spells, because if you can just suspend this on turn 1 and then, just sort of stall and counter some spells, and wait until this comes off, that's a really good deal. Like, this plays a lot better when you have 2-mana counter spells than when you have 2-mana cantrips, for sure. You don't want to have your deck just full of air. So, plays really well with what we have right now. I mean, not really the Shinobi, but everything else. Not really any other considerations. I mean, I do think heavy blue-black Reanimator is a pretty good deck. And so Una's Prowler is a good thing for that, and also this is probably better for it, just because it is good interaction as well. But we don't even know we're going to be playing black. So I do think we'll go with Ancestral Vision. I also do think if our only goal was a trophy, picking the Thalia might have been the right pick. Like, mono white is great, and it does look like white is pretty open. But, like, I mean, I've done that a couple times in a row, so I think it'll be good to branch out a bit. Okay, so Emery isn't really the direction we're looking at going. Prismatic Vista is a very flexible dual land. It fits any color combination, obviously, and it is shuffle effect, which can be good if we pick up like Brainstorm or Jace. But it's definitely a lot worse than Creeping Tar Pit if we are in blue-black. I like Manlands a lot. Creeping Tar Pit is probably the best. And I think that's what we want to do. Like, we're not fully committed to blue-black, and so there's definitely a chance we'll end up in like blue-white and wish we had this Vista. But even if we are in blue-white, this is a fairly splashable card, and I do just think like this is a fairly good pick, getting this 5th pick. Like, it seems like people are not drafting blue-black to our right, so that seems pretty good. Although, right after that we get a late Zealous Conscripts. Definitely makes Twin look like it's pretty open. I do think that's going to be the pick. We could go with a Dismember, just a flexible removal spell, but there's a lot more flexible removal spells than cards like Zealous Conscripts. And this is also, like, fine even outside of... unlike all the other Twin pieces, this is good in just normal decks, too. Like, it's pretty sweet if you can just steal their Planeswalker and ultimate it, or just, like, get in a big hit. There's lots of stuff. Make sure you don't steal equipment with it. Or, I mean, you can, but you have to re-equip it. So that's an important thing to remember. One time I accidentally stole... I stole a creature that had a GT on it and forgot that I would not get to use that. So we'll take this. Maybe end up in like some sort of Grixis Twin deck, or we'll see. Alright, definitely looking at these 2 black cards. They're both solid. Bitter Blossom is quite strong in some matchups, and it is good with Shinobi. I do think Heartless Act is probably the best cheap removal spell, and blue-black is a combination that really values like cheap removal spells. Like, you don't really want to end up in a super removal heavy deck where you have a bunch of 1-for-1s and then just get outgrinded by blue decks. But since we're playing blue ourselves, this is sort of card disadvantage, because you're usually going to be killing something that had some other effect. This is close. I think we're going to go with a Bitter Blossom, even though I do like this card a lot. It plays well with Shinobi. We'll probably be fairly light on win conditions. So yeah, we'll go with that. Alright, blue is definitely a bit cut in this direction. I do think, I would imagine we'll get some nice blue stuff next pack, so that's cool. There's a Path, which is a great removal spell. Chain Lightning is pretty weak. Manamorphose, like Wishclaw Talisman, not really what we want, so I think we'll take the Path. We're most likely going to be blue-black, and then potentially have a red or white splash, depending on what we get. Although, here's a late Gideon Jura, so maybe it's beginning to look like Esper is the most likely combination for us. This isn't like we're not going to like splash for this card. It's not like phenomenal, but it's definitely a pretty good card, especially if you pick up other Planeswalkers. And none of the other cards are particularly inspiring. I do think mono white would look pretty good. Like a late Sword and Burmaz is telling, but yeah, oh wow. Should we just full send it into mono white? No. Actually, no, we definitely shouldn't do that. This is the fact that everyone's looked at this Deceiver Exarch is a great sign. I think we're going to take this and sort of plan on moving into Twin if we can. That's a Cola Guns command as well, which we would definitely want to play if we end up in Grixis, but we'll take this. So we know we're not getting Steam Vents, and it's beginning to look like we might be more just blue-red, so sort of regret this Creeping Tar Pit pick, but we'll see where we end up. I actually don't hate Pyretic Ritual. I mean, none of these cards are great for us, but there's a chance we end up in like a twin deck that doesn't have a ton of red mana, in which case this can help us get to Kiki Jiki. Man, this is pretty scattered to this point. Disenchant's probably the best card. Embereth Shieldbreaker is good. Like, blue-red is a fairly likely place for us to end up. I think I'm going to take Disenchant. I could definitely imagine us just... Oh, yep, okay. I could definitely just imagine us turning into a blue-white control deck here. Alright, we'll take a port. If we end up in just 2 colors, that's a decent piece of interaction. Alright, if we end up in Jeskai, this is good. So, a lot of unanswered questions here. Really, the only cards we know we're going to be playing are these. So, very, very open right now. We'll sort of see what ends up happening. The fact that we don't have fixing or like a solid monocolor base is a little bit worrying for sure. I think here we should just take the Signet. We don't know that we're going to be playing black, but we're pretty confident we're going to be playing blue. And this helps fix us, helps ramp us. It's good with Ancestral Vision. It's good, like, if we end up in Esper, that's pretty solid. So we'll take this. Okay, I think at this point, I feel okay about sort of committing to this, to Esper. If we get a Kiki Jiki, that might make us want to reconsider, but this is like a pretty good start for a solid control deck. Lots of cheap interaction, and like we don't have like the sort of top end stuff at all, but it's easier to fill that in than like good cheap interaction. So we'll take the Godless Shrine here. Just solid piece of fixing. I also, black white tends to be pretty open, so like there's a good chance we'll be able to get some Vindicates or things like that. Some consideration to Ravenous Chupacabra. I do think this is solid interaction and it's good with the Shinobi, but it's sort of looking like black is going to be a bit of a splash. I think blue or white is probably the most open color, so we'll take this over the Chup and then maybe wheel the Chup, or maybe wheel like Elspeth or something. Nice. Okay. Love this card. There's a decent number of cards here that we would be happy to play. Wall of Omens is pretty good in this sort of deck, especially if we pick up some Planeswalkers. Impulse is great card selection. This is just a solid removal spell, although it's worse when we already have Path. But Mystic Confluence is perfect. Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much every single time we've seen this card, I've talked about how good it is, and I'll continue to do that. Just love, love, love this card. We also don't have a ton of card draw outside of this Ancestral Vision right now, so fills that role well. Definitely a great pickup. So, couple cards here. There is a Lava Claw Reaches if we think we're going to be playing red, but I mean, I don't think that's that likely. Like, I mean, a Johnny Vengeance is a nice card to splash, so is Zealous Conscripts, but our mana isn't looking good enough that we can get too greedy. 2 blue cards, but they're both pretty weak for us. Languish is decent. I do think like having a sweeper is going to be really important for this sort of deck. But it's double black, which I don't love, and it's pretty likely we'll be able to pick up like a Wrath of God type effect in white. So I actually think we're going to go with Kaya. This card is, it looks pretty unassuming, but it's actually surprisingly good. It can eat Moxen, which is nice. It's good against Mana Dorks. It's good against aggressive decks with like Goblin Guides. It's good against Reanimator, Storm. It can be a win condition. So this card is unassumingly pretty good. Alright. Love getting a Thief of Sanity here. Definitely Esper is looking like where we want to be. It plays well with Shinobi, just a cheap flyer that can get in there. Really good on its own too. Just generates consistent card advantage. It's pretty cheap. And then maybe we can wheel this Tidal Sculler, which isn't the best ever, but it's solid interaction, especially if we don't end up with Wraths. So we'll take this and try and wheel this. And I think there's a pretty good chance it will come back around. We would love Phantasmal Image. Don't really expect that to wheel. So if we don't wheel the Tidal Sculler, we probably don't get anything, but that's fine. Okay, again, like, we could try and facilitate this red splash, but I don't think that's where we want to be. Kitesail Freebooter is solid. I wouldn't normally be thrilled about taking this sort of card, but again, like, you can't really have enough cheap interaction. this is looking like a great mock deck with so many good two mana plays that all require colorless mana. But I think this is especially good if we have Fallen Shinobi. You can sort of clear the way, and then they do get their card back when you get the Shinobi out there. But if you hit with Shinobi, you don't really care about anything. You just win. So we'll take this Kitesail Freebooter. All right, I like Duress. It's another solid piece of cheap interaction, but we already have 13 cards that we're definitely wanting to play. So I don't think we're going to be in a place where we're worried about playables, and so we can just take this opportunity to pick up a nice dual land. I mean, it's not like amazing. It will be tapped a decent amount, but just like pretty much any dual land at this point that's in our colors we would take and be pretty happy about that. So pick up this Concealed Courtyard. Okay, I like this better than Languish. We don't have anything that survives Languish, so this is and this can just hit some stuff that Languish cannot. We would maybe play Tasker. I don't love this card, and I would definitely rather have a Treasure Cruise or a Dig Through Time. But we're not going to take that over like a great sweeper. We probably want to main deck one sweeper and then have like one or two more on the board, ideally. Ooh. Late Dig Through Time definitely makes me happy we did not just take that Tassiger. This is just a good card in general, and it's especially good when you have like a lot of cheap instants and sorceries. You know, we have these 3 that just go to the graveyard. Ancestral goes to the graveyard, so we have some ways to fill it. We don't have a fetch land, so that would be a nice thing to have with this, but I like a dig. All right, so there's that Elspeth we were talking about wheeling. We could take Containment Priest, but I think I like just taking the Planeswalker here. Yeah, we don't have a ton of Planeswalkers right now, but we have a couple, and I do think like the more Planeswalkers you have, the better they become because you can sort of swarm them, and it's a lot harder to deal with like multiple Planeswalkers than one. So we'll take this, and hopefully we can pick up like a blue Planeswalker in the next pack. All right, this is pretty close. I think I'm leaning towards just taking the Waldo. I mean, I guess we actually don't have a ton of creature removal, but in general, it's easier to find creature removal than, like, good cantrips, and Wall of Omens is good with our Planeswalkers that we have some of and are hoping to get more of. Flicker Wisp. Is there any chance we want this card? Not really. I mean, it's double white. Yeah, I think we'd rather just take this, because there is still a world where we want to make a splash happen. Actually, never mind. We will take the Flicker Wisp. I don't think we're going to main deck it, but there's some matchups where we'll want the body. So we'll go with that. Oh, someone took the Tidehauler's color. That's a little bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. I think we'll just take this. None of these cards are really going to make the cut, but like, even though we're not like have enough white to be consistently casting this for 3 mana, it's still just fine if you play like 2 white and 2 colorless to make 4/1/1 flyers in some matchups. Okay, there's the twin, but I don't think we're really on that plan anymore. Signet is good, especially a Signet that fixes us like this one does. There's also Windswept Heath, but I think we should just go with Glenn. This card is super, super good. We have a lot of 2 mana plays, so that makes this look a little less appealing. Again, Windswept Heath would be nice. I would take this over a lot of stuff, but Glenn is like perfect. Just a really great card, good with Shinobi. We got, these 2 really early counters, but not much counter magic after that. So, yeah, we'll take this and pass up on the twin. Like, if we had first picked that blue-red duel, maybe we could end up in this direction. But I feel pretty okay about just taking this Glen and having a Sweet Esper control deck instead of a combo deck. So, all right. This is close. These are both great cards, especially since we have no other mind control effects that makes Treachery stock go way up. Jace is also just a great card, especially when you have a lot of cheap interactive spells, but I think we just want to take the Flooded Strand. It's a tri-land, it can get Godless Shriner and Island, so that's really nice. Fills the graveyard for Dig Through Time. And it's just like, our mana is pretty dicey. Like, I think that's definitely our weakest point right now. There's also a chance one of these blue cards does come back. We got a late Dig Through Time there, and there's a lot of blue cards in this pack. So I can't really imagine Treachery or Jace. Honestly, they're all good, so there's a chance all of these blue cards will be taken. We don't care about Palinchron, but these 3 blue cards, like, maybe they'll all get taken. We would play any of the 3, so hopefully we can wheel one, but we'll take the Flood Strand here. Also, if we take one of these, it almost guarantees that the other 2 will get taken, whereas there's a chance we wheel something if we take the Strand, so, yeah. Ooh. Oh, there's that, but, yeah, that ship has sailed. There's another dual land. We already have a Godless Shrine, which makes Scrubland less important. And I just love Teferi, so don't expect to wheel this since someone took the Tidehauler Sculler, but I think this card is great. I mean, it's just, everyone knows how good this card is. Most people hate it unless they love it. I happen to be on the love side because I played with it more than against it, but it's just super powerful. If we didn't have a Scrubland, or if we didn't have Godless Shrine, I do think we'd take the Scrubland, but Teferi is just a beast. Wow. Okay. Some regrets here. I do think we could have ended up with a sweet blue-red twin deck, but I also do like where we're at, so we're not going to pivot at this point. Urza's good, but I think we should just take Caracas here. We already have, like, some solid top end, and we have a lot of spells. Like, this might end up being a 28 or an 18 land deck, but definitely at least 17, so we don't have a room for a ton more spells, and Caracas is just good. We don't have any legends, unfortunately, but it's a great defensive card. There's still a chance we could get a legend, like if we wheel the Jace or something. This card is just really, really good. It just single-handedly wins some games at no cost, since it doesn't even enter tapped. Alright, really happy to get Scarab God. This is a very, very strong card. Hard to remove. Can just end the game pretty quickly. Good against, like, there's a whole category of cards, which Shinobi and Scarab God and Mana Leak are all very much in, that are, I mean, like, Fallen Shinobi is fine if you play it in limited. Like, you can, hit them and get their basic land, and they're, like, 3/3. But when you're playing against decks that have broken cards that let you play your opponent's stuff become way more powerful. So, like, when Scarab God is, reanimating Inferno Titan and, like, Glenalandra and stuff like that, it just goes up in value a ton. So, the more powerful the format, the more powerful Scarab God is, and this is pretty much as powerful a format as it comes. Also plays well with Caracas. Ooh, I love Narset. I definitely want that, but definitely will not pass up a late Tundra. Our mana is beginning to look pretty reasonable, but we don't have access to a blue-white duel. So this makes our Flood Strand be able to get a blue-white, and I mean, yeah, I don't really expect to wheel Karn or Narset, both of which we'd like to play. Maybe we could wheel Elspeth Conquers Death. I'd be a bit surprised, but we're definitely prioritizing lands above spells at this point, so we will take that very happily. Okay. Take a Lingering Souls. Great enabler for Shinobi. In our colors, we can cast both halves. Yeah, very happy about this. If we can wheel Jace, it's a nice thing to discard and still provide value. This is starting to look like a pretty solid Shinobi deck. We have a decent number of flyers that can get it in there. I do love Duretti, so if we were doing a red splash, that would definitely be the pick. I think we'll go with Council's Judgment. Could be a bit rough on the mana, but I do think we'll have a decent amount of white sources, especially since all of these lands, except for Creeping Carpet, make white. And this is, like, we don't have any answers to Planeswalker right now. Oh, that's a pretty big flaw. So we definitely, this actually just becomes really good then. Like, having some answers for Planeswalkers is very important for this type of deck. So, pretty happy about that. I hope people don't hate me for passing up on this. We're just going to take a Tide Taker. None of these cards we're going to play. Like, we definitely can't facilitate a red splash here. This isn't a card we want in main deck, but there's some matchups where it's very good. Okay, I actually do think we might want to main deck Thraben Inspector. We don't have any 1-drops, really, so it's just a cheap play that's solid. And it can potentially enable Shinobi, which is some nice value. Alright, nothing for this Trinket Mage to fetch. I guess we'll take a Balance. We don't have artifacts, which are really what you want to be playing with Balance, but there's some matchups where it'll be good. Just like against super aggressive decks, they can just sweep their board for very cheap. We didn't really end up with many board sweepers. The fact we got no white board sweepers is a little odd. We can fetch this with a Flooded Strand, but 2 red sources isn't really enough for anything, so we'll check Elish Norn. I'm not really wanting to main deck this card, although it's not horrible in the main deck, but it's a great sideboard option in some matchups. Okay, these are all actually pretty good. I think we'll just take, oh, whoops. Well, we were going to take this. I like this card a lot for the board. It can be really good sometimes. Really happy to wheel this, this Elspeth Conquers Death. That's just a great piece of interaction that, helps you grind a lot. And, like, we have a decent amount of grind, but we don't have a ton, so, I do think that's a good thing for us to have access to. So, I think our mana ended up being good enough that we can afford to play 17 lands. Not going to be playing this port, unfortunately, although it is strong. So, what is the cut? Definitely don't want to cut any of these 3s. Don't want to cut any of these 4s. I guess we could cut this. It is our only double black card. It's looking like black is going to be our smallest color. But we don't have much removal other than this, so I do think having access to something like this is good. We'll side it out sometimes, but in matchups where it's good, it'll probably be our best card. We have a lot of 5s, but I do like them all quite a bit. Plus, Shinobi is hopefully going to be a 4. We could cut the 3-Ribbon Inspector. Yeah, I think we will cut this. It's definitely solid, and we would not be unhappy to play it. And we'll side it in sometimes where a 1-2 body is pretty relevant, but it's not like a big part of our game plan. I just think we lose less from cutting that than from cutting anything else. So in terms of Shinobi enablers, we have Bitter Blossom, Freebooter, Thief of Sanity, Lingering Souls, and Glen as like cheap flyers. So that's pretty sweet. I think that's definitely enough. And in terms of top end, we have some 5s that can take over the game by themselves. Card draw, we have Ancestral and Mystic Confluence, Dig. We're a bit light on card draw. Definitely would have liked to get a, like Charter Course or just like some other sort of thing to that effect, but I think it's still pretty strong. So let's see. If we do this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue. Definitely want more blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 white. We could maybe cut a white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black. I think we're going to cut a white and a black for 2 blue. We have more black-white dual lands than blue, and I also just think like we really want to have access to Ancestral on turn 1 if we can. Want to have access to counterspells on turn 2, so yeah, I think we'll run this. I'd give this a 7. It's definitely good. I would say it's a probably slightly above average deck, but no power, not any like truly broken stuff, just like good interaction, solid mana, and like solid grinding capability. So yeah, nothing that really makes it stand out, but I definitely think it has the tools to win a lot of matchups. I would love to have some more 1-mana plays, whether it's like Preordain or Thoughtseize or just stuff like that, Swords of Plowshares, but our curve can start at 2 and still be okay. Like if we had not many 2s, our lack of 1s would be very disconcerting, but it's pretty likely that we'll have a play on the first 2 turns. I mean, this is lands and spells. It's pretty bad, but I think we're gonna keep it. Yeah, like we don't have. I like mulliganing a lot more in decks that have stuff like Ancestral or Soul Ring or sort of really powerful cards that can make up a lot of disadvantage quickly. But and we don't have that, so mulliganing seems a little bit worse, especially on the play. And we don't know what we're up against, so like we don't want to mulligan into like a Languish and then keep it and have it be horrible. So we'll keep this and hope to draw something to bridge the gap to our 5s. All right, that's a really good land for us to find. Gives us our double white and our first black. So now we can cast pretty much any spell in our deck other than our board sweeper. All right, solid draw. I mean, it's slow, but we're not under any pressure, so we can afford to do this. We do want to really hit our 5th land drop, but we have a couple draws for that. I guess one thing I'll just confront head on is I actually don't curse. It's just a weird thing of mine. I mean, I do sometimes. I don't think it's like immoral or anything for sure, but I find that if people curse all the time, it just loses all meaning, and so I sort of like to save them up for special occasions. So like big moments where I'm like very passionate about something are pretty much the only times I'll curse. So that's why I said our board sweeper instead of the actual name of our board sweeper. So yeah, I hope that doesn't rub anyone the wrong way. I definitely like would never hold it against anyone if they swore. Like all my friends do all the time, but just like a personal choice to preserve the power of language for me. For example, when I was captain of my cross country team in high school, and before the Western Mass Championship, I in my pre-meet speech, I like basically like cursed out all the competition and like had like this sort of big thing that was very vulgar, and all of my teammates just went crazy. For years they'd all been trying to convince me to curse, and so it was sort of like a big moment that they really thought was cool, and so I like being able to do stuff like that. Okay, if they're going to pay 6 for something and it trades with our 1-drop, that seems fine. I don't love ramping them, especially when we have Mystic Confluence, but they already have a lot of mana, and I do think it's worth it to do this here. Like, we want to... I mean, like, if we knew we were going to draw land, I guess we could Elspeth Conquers Death here, but, like, it's also comparably good just to, Scarab or Gideon Jura kill this, or hold up Mystic Confluence or something, so I think it is worth firing off this path here, and hopefully that doesn't ramp them into something devastating. A lot of colors of mana over there. Land. Nice. Okay, so decision time. I think I like just getting the Gideon Jura down. Like, if you can resolve a Planeswalker and just, like, immediately trade with a card, that's pretty good. This undoes the card advantage we just gave them, and, like, pretty much any scary thing they play, we can Elspeth Conquers Death. If we didn't have this, I'd feel a little bit worse about this and maybe just pass holding up Confluence, but if they play something terrifying, we have this answer. If they don't play something terrifying, we can either pass with the counterspell up or play our own terrifying thing. So I think this is the right move to play the Gideon. Oh, okay, that's like the best thing they could have had there. Still not too bad, because we can just Elspeth Conquers Death this, and then it'll get back to Gideon in 2 turns. That does mean our shields are down, so if they play another huge thing, we don't have a good answer, but I think this still seems fine. Ooh, another counterspell. But, like, just passing. I mean, I guess we could just pass, take 4, and a turn draw 3 if they don't do anything, but I don't think Mana Leak is even great interaction, so I think we're just gonna ECD here, get the solid 2 for 1. They do have 4 cards and a lot of mana, so I would not necessarily say we're ahead, but we're not, like, much behind. Ooh, okay, that's good. I mean, we still got to trade with something, but that is definitely a strong play. So, let's see. Oh, man, another 5-drop? Nissa, what? Okay, we're definitely behind now. That was a really powerful string of plays from our opponent. Like, Questing Beast was the perfect answer for our Gideon, and Rexage was the perfect answer for our Elspeth Conquers Death, so that definitely worked out pretty poorly for us. I think we're just going to jam the Scarab God. We need to pressure the Nissa. Just passing with Mystic Confluence up doesn't really accomplish anything when they have a Planeswalker. And this can hold off the 3/3s well. If they have, like, a path, or, like, given how their answers have been lining up, I wouldn't be surprised to see them have, like, a way to exile this or something, but if they don't, like, hopefully we can start beating it down. Whoa, 4th color. Not really great things to exile with this. I mean, we could take their Lotus Cobra. The ability isn't super relevant, but it is just a 4/4, so that's fine. But I don't think we're going to do that in our upkeep. I think we want to be holding up Mystic Confluence. Okay, animate Stirring Wildwood. Alright, they must have an answer to the Scarab God here. Jeez. Okay. So are they just attacking? Oh, wait, I did not realize how low our life total was. How did we... I guess, wow. I just did not realize that fact. Okay, so I guess we're going to 1. Definitely blocking here. And so now we can Mystic Confluence a bunch of these things. Oh, man. I mean, yeah, no, we're definitely just dead, actually. Like, if we draw a board sweeper, no, that still doesn't do it. Wow, okay, we got just crushed sort of unexpectedly here. I did not really realize how badly we were doing. Um, alright, I think we are just going to attack the Vivian. They'll probably double block and we'll trade with one of them and then play 4 souls. That's not a winning line, but it's like really our only play. Yeah, you're right. Although I would actually say what won the game here was the Questing Beast. If we had been able to have a Gideon for pressure these planeswalkers, I think we would have won this game. Actually, wait, no, we are just dead because even if we have 4 souls, we still die. Okay, so they're doing that. Is there any way we can win here? I guess we just make 4 souls and trade with one of these lands. I can't really imagine the way we win, just because even if we find a sweeper, they can just Nissa to make more creatures. Good thing this doesn't have trample. Okay, so wow, I mean, I sort of felt like we were in reasonable position for most of this game until we were just dead. Their threats, their answers lined up really well with our threats, and our answers have not lined up with their threats at all. Like we have these sweet counter spells in our hand, and they have a sick board. And I mean, maybe we played it wrong, but I felt like we were never in a position where we could just sit back holding up counters. We were just under pressure the entire game. I mean, yeah, we're already dead. Like there's literally no spell we can beat here. I mean, that doesn't change anything, but we're still just dead. There's nothing we can do here. All right, well, that was a bummer. Yeah, don't really. It's hard to pinpoint one place where that went wrong because sort of it was just all wrong. Um, Balance is maybe good. Is there anything that's bad? Disenchant didn't look great. I think we'll cut Disenchant for balance and run this. Again, we don't have great stuff to pair with balance, but like Ancestral's good with it. Bitter Blossom is fine with it. We have 1 Signet, so yeah. For what it's worth, even if our mono white deck that we could have drafted would have been better, mono white could never ever beat this deck in a million years. Like this is the absolute nightmare matchup. So many planeswalkers that just make consistent 3/3s that trade with all your threats. Great hand though. We have all our colors. We have some acceleration. We have a Teferi. A little bit light on lands, but definitely happy about where we are here. So it's obviously we're leading on Tar Pit. Turn 2 will be sort of interesting. I'm sort of thinking we just want to hold up Remand. Um, although there's definitely plenty of reasonable options. Search. Okay, never mind. I think. Oh, Teferi's actually going to kill that. That's sweet. Okay, I think having drawn that land, we have Teferi guaranteed next turn. So that'll shut down the search for tomorrow. I think we just want to get the Kitesail Freebooter into play. Next turn we're playing Teferi either way, so having an extra mana doesn't really help us. Man, Planeswalker.deck. Which one of these is scarier? We do have Remand for either one, but we can't really pressure either one that well. I think we'll take the Nissa. It's just a bit stronger in like overall, and it has a higher loyalty, so it's harder for us to kill with whatever creatures we have. So we'll get rid of that. Really, really looking forward to this Teferi shutting down their search. So they'll play Devoted Druid, and then we'll play Island Teferi, bounce their Devoted Druid, and just like set them back so much mana. Alright. Easy play here. And so just in case anyone's unfamiliar with this interaction, this says that you can only play spells anytime they would cast a sorcery. And despite the fact that this is a sorcery, when you suspend it, you cast it in your upkeep, and you cannot cast sorceries in your upkeep, so they cannot put the spell into the stack. So they play the Devoted Druid again. I would love to get the Thief of Sanity into play, but unfortunately, I think we do want to hold up Remand here for the Vivian. Oh! Okay, that changes things. I think we're just going to Shinobi. Yeah, I mean, it is awkward because that lets them play Nissa and kill our Teferi. Also, Shinobi hits 2 cards, and there's a chance at just 2 lands, and we'll have already played a land. So actually, I think we are going to spend 1 turn here, remanding. I think that makes sense, because the next turn we can ideally hold up Path, or no, definitely hold up Path. So we will just Signet, hit for 1. This is close, and I definitely wouldn't fault someone for just Shinobiing at the first opportunity, but I think we know we'll have a chance next turn because of this remand. And also, like, even if they don't have a land, Devoted Druid adds 2, so they can guarantee cast this Vivi next turn. So we'll just remand this, and then hope that Shinobi does some sweet stuff for us. You have the land. So I assume they're casting Vivian. Yeah. So hopefully we draw. Oh, okay. That actually changes things. I think we're just gonna play that now. Again, it's weird to not be Shinobiing because it is so good, but I think Glenlundra is going to be very, very good against what they're trying to do. And so now next turn we'll Shinobi, and then in before we draw something else that delays that plan again. But like the only reason, like, we're not an aggressive deck. We're not trying to sort of turbo out anything. So we're not under any rush. As long as they're not doing anything that messes with us, it's fine to delay the Shinobi. I mean, oh, whoa, they just conceded. Well, that's actually great for us. They didn't get the information. Fallen, like, in general, I think it's good. Like, the more information you can have about your opponent's deck, the better. It's relatively rare that it actually matters, but Shinobi is one of the most important cards for that. I would say, like, Shinobi, Upheaval, Board Sweepers, and Counter Magic. Okay, so there's definitely a decent number of times where it matters, but I think Shinobi is one of the most important. There's a lot of times where, like, they should block knowing that we have Shinobi in our deck, but might not given that they don't know about it. So that went a little bit smoother for sure. We are on the draw now, which hurts. Still haven't seen much that Disenchant's good against. We could bring in Elish Norn. It does seem like, actually, yeah, I think we probably do want this card. It's expensive, so a little bit awkward to bring in a 7-drop on the draw, but it doesn't seem like they have many ways to remove it, and even though it doesn't kill their 3/3s from their Planeswalkers, 1/1s are a lot less scary. It's also amazing with Lingering Souls. Probably Balance should be the cut on the draw. We'll see. I mean, I can imagine drawing Elish Norn and really wishing it was Balance if we're, like, way behind, but I think this is where we want to be. Maybe we should keep the Balance, actually. Because it is good against their Planeswalkers. We could maybe cut Bitter Blossom, although it is also good with Elish Norn, and it's decent at pressuring our Planeswalkers, but it is slow, and we're on the draw. Yeah, I think we'll play Balance over Bitter Blossom, actually. Even though Bitter Blossom and Balance are decent together, and Bitter Blossom is great with Elish Norn, like, we really want to spend our turn 2 interacting with them. Like, if we just play Bitter Blossom and they, like, play turn 3 Questing Beast, like, that just is not really a matchup we want to be playing. Some consideration of Fairgrounds Warden, too, but I don't think we want to do that when we have a sweeper. Wow. Great hand. This could have been a Bitter Blossom, but we have a great turn 2 play either way. Wall of Omens can hopefully draw us towards lands. We have turn 1 Ancestral, which is the perfect turn 1. They kept 7, and so if they go, like, 1-drop into, like, some scary stuff, we could definitely just get run over, but I definitely like this hand a lot. Okay, that was a pretty horrible draw. I don't want to say it's the worst draw in the deck, but definitely top 5 worst cards. Path is an amazing card here because we would love to path our own wall. This is a slow hand without a ton of mana, and so if we could sort of ramp into these things, that would be great. Ooh. Okay, that's threatening. I don't want to shock with this Flooded Strand, but we probably need to if we don't draw another land. Because we want a black source. Oh, man. Alright, another card in the bottom 5 cards of things to draw. Yeah, definitely a little sad we don't have a scrub land right now, but I think we do need to do this. Okay. It's not the best land to draw, but it's a land nonetheless. I would say we're very, very, very far behind, though. Like, 15% chance to win this game, probably. They just, like, this turn, they have so much mana, and we don't have a single play next turn. So, they have so many cards that would just end the game. Night's Whisper isn't threatening, but it is. I mean, actually, no. Night's Whisper is probably good for us. Like, we can out card draw them when we have this Ancestral coming in. So, we really just don't want them to play something to the board. No Questing Beast. Okay, that's fine. Also fine. So, Elstrom was looking good. We're a long way away from playing that, but it's something. Okay, I mean, annoying that we don't have to play this turn, but good that we have a land to hit this Elspeth next turn. Hopefully our opponent will be afraid of a counterspell and not just jam some huge thing. Alright, Night of the Reliquary is still not too threatening. Really, a board sweeper would look really good here, though, so definitely hoping we can find a black source and that. Stirring Wildwood, sure. Okay, this is going a lot better than I thought it would, to be honest. Wow, monoplanes. But now we can play this turn, and then next turn we can either go Mystic Confluence or Scarab God at the worst case scenario. Well, I guess actually, true worst case scenario is we only have Scarab God since we don't have double blue yet, but we will be drawing some cards. They could just get a Craterhoof and kill us here, so hopefully they don't have that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, they would just do that. I mean, I guess a lot of their creatures would be tapped. Oh, Questing Beast. Okay. I mean, that can kill us with, or that can kill our Elspeth with the Exalted trigger, but then we can just trade our Scarab God with it. And it also just means they don't have Craterhoof in their deck, because they definitely would get it. I mean, unless they just have Craterhoof in their hand already. But it doesn't look like that's the case. Okay, so, I mean, yeah, that's definitely good. It's a strong card. Ooh, Strip Mine is very, very bad for us. That really sucks. So yeah, we're really hoping to sweep the board this turn. Come on, Ancestral. They're definitely just attacking us. Hit the Elspeth for 5. And then we don't have a play at all lined up next turn. So when I said worst case scenario, it was just Scarab God. I did not consider the Strip Mine. It'd be really brutal if they had Wasteland to fetch with the Knight, but they would have already done that if they did, so I don't think they have that. Alright. Big, big draws here. We don't have much time at all, so you gotta find something. Wow. That was a huge brick. I can't believe we didn't hit any lands in those cards. So, I mean, Path is nice. It's good against, it's just, there's so many things we want to path. So, well, Lingering Souls. We definitely should path the Questing Beast here. I mean, I would love to path our own thing, but Questing Beast will just kill us too quickly for that. So hopefully they don't have anything good to get with a Knight. Hopefully just like filling up their graveyard to make it bigger because we can chump block it for a long time. So let's see. There's 6 lands out of our deck, so we have 11 lands left. A bit under half of our deck is land, so decent chance we can draw one, but decent chance we won't too. And obviously, I mean, we have 5 blue cards and no blue sources, and a 7 drop. So other than this path, our hand is absolute trash if we don't find a blue source soon. I don't think our opponent's deck is particularly strong. Like, I just think in general green decks aren't particularly strong, and they, like, don't really have the top end you need to be able to, like, really win, but they are going to win this game probably. Like, I mean, I guess Strip Mine is good, and Questing Beast is a decent clock, but yeah, we'll see what they have here. Hopefully there's enemy Stirring Wildwood. Okay, nice. So I'm guessing they're attacking with Beast, Knight, and Stirring Wildwood? Yeah. So we will just block here, chump here, and path the Beast. Actually, never mind. We are just going to path our own thing. I think it's worth it. Like, if we can get to Elish Norn, that'll be very strong. This Questing Beast is definitely a problem, but, like, we could even just potentially Shinobi here. That's a bit aggressive when our electrical is so low, but there's a chance we could hit something really strong from our opponent. Yeah, I actually think I like that. Unless we draw a blue source, then okay. Yeah, okay. Alright, I think we're just gonna go attack with one dude, and this doesn't have reach, right? I was like 99% sure, but you never know with this card. So we're gonna go with Shinobi and hope to hit something broken. And then, like, worst case scenario, we still survive. We can block there, chump there, take 7. But it would be very unlucky if we didn't hit any creatures or ways to interact at all. Wow. Okay, first of all, crazy that they have Greater Hoof and they didn't do it last turn. But that was obviously amazing. Really, really couldn't ask for better than that. All of a sudden, I actually think we might be winning. That was a huge swing. I wish we could play this Greater Hoof next turn, because that would certainly be lethal. But we can only play until the end of this turn. This is how you become trophy leader. Just Shinobi into Golos plus Kratos. They probably should have Fauna Shaman first, honestly. Oh wait, no, they almost definitely don't have a creature. But if they do, then they definitely should have done that. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, Moaning Myrtle. I can understand why you want to moan about this, but you're still not dead. But I do think that was a big swing. Definitely really happy we went with the Shinobi line instead of like playing Scarab God or something. I actually have far more than 26 trophies, but point taken. So this is definitely going to get a Creeping Tar Pit. Ooh, actually, never mind. Karakas. I do want more blue mana, but I think Karakas could be really, really good here. Actually, it's close. But I think we do want Karakas. Obviously, we'll not be Karakasing our own Golos, but we could do it on their Questing Beast. A lot of power and toughness on our side of the board. So if they attack, I think we're just going to trade Crater Hoof with Questing Beast. That does put it in the graveyard, which opens us up to them having Eternal Witness to get it back. But that they don't have enough mana to do all that in one turn, so we can hold up Mystic Confluence. Plus, likely we can just Elish Norn and reduce their board a lot. Oh, they're just conceding. Wow. Okay. Did not think we were gonna win that one. I don't think I can say anything here that would be productive. So I mean, I'll say GG's and Sweet Deck, I guess. Which is true. They did have a cool deck, even though I don't think it was. Now that I know they have Crater Hoof, it's much more impressive. All right, well, 1-0. Not exactly how we drew it up, but we'll take it. Obviously, we got very lucky with the Shinobi hit. That was pretty much perfect, but A, there. I mean, we knew there was a chance that would happen when we took that line. B, even if we just hit one like decent creature, we would be in okay position. Um, and like, yeah, I mean, I guess there's no C, just A and B. But I think those are both true things, and I do think that was the correct line, and obviously it paid off. But even without that hindsight, I still think it was the right line at the time. Perfect illustration though of why Shinobi is so good. Like, because they had some sweet cards in their deck, it just like was unbelievable. I mean, we cast 13 mana worth of spells for 4 mana and hit them for 5 and just got a good creature onto the battlefield. I mean, we did lose a 1/1 flyer, but like that's just so good. And Shinobi's at its best against like green decks or sort of ramp decks where you can be hitting huge cost things. It's, I mean, against mono red, like it's decent if you can just get a burn spell on a land, but like it's much worse for sure. This hand is land light. We've got a lot of land light hands, honestly. There's a chance we should be playing 18 lands, but I think remand into one of these two plays on turn 3 is a really good start against a lot of decks. We really want them to play a spell next turn. If we, okay, nice, we did hit our land. We don't have black for Thief Ascendi, which is honestly probably what we would want to. Well, actually, if we have a choice of what to cast, I don't really know what we'll do. It's close, but given that we likely won't have a choice, we will definitely be ferrying. Ooh, okay. Actually, we'll Kaya now. Kaya is great here if we can cast it. Okay, cannot do that, but still Teferi is good. That sets them back on mana. They can play Grim Monolith, and we can't do anything about that, but that's fine. And then hopefully we draw a Black Source. Oof, okay. Black Spell, not exactly. Even if we draw another land, we can play Elspeth Knight Errant. But best case scenario is we can play Kaya, eat their 1/1, and then, I mean, they'll still have Grim Monolith, but we'll have 2 onboard Planeswalkers, and they won't have any way to pressure them. And, oh. Well, that was probably the best non-land card we could have drawn in our deck. Actually, almost definitely the best non-land card we could have drawn. This is a perfect example. Like, they might play around stuff, but they also might just tap their Grim Monolith, and then we can mana leak it, and, like, it'll be a while before the Grim Monolith is good again, so it's, like, definitely more than a 1-for-1. Not a 2-for-1, because Grim Monolith is still around, but, like, most of the value of Grim Monolith comes from the first activation. Oh, okay, that worked out very poorly for us. Is it worth just tapping their Monolith? I don't think so. And I also think we're going to lose now. That's bad. That just pressures us very well. We don't have great answers to it, and we're just like so far away from doing anything relevant. Oh, man. Alright, well, I guess we're sort of regretting not mana leaking that because we have to discard hand size, but like that doesn't matter. This dig through time is not doing anything. I think we're going to go with the same formula of getting run over by a green-white deck in game 1 and then crushing them in games 2 and 3. Actually, crush is a very generous term for what happened last round, but it is rough to still be missing land drops. I mean, we kept a 2-lander, which is dicey, but we have seen 5 cards since then and only 1 land. And that land was like one of the worst lands we could have hit. Okay, guys, Cradle will definitely close this one out. Okay. Yep, you got this one. The information of like seeing all this is not worth it. Oh, they have a mana crypt too? Okay. They have a lot of stuff going on here. Definitely want disenchant this matchup. It's Elish Norn. Like, that's the one card we might bring in. There's not really any clear things to bring out. We could cut Bitter Blossom. Could cut. No, I don't think we want to cut Freebooter. I think we're just going to run this back. Maybe that's wrong, actually. I actually think I'm going to cut Elish Norn. Or, Elspeth for Elish Norn. Elspeth is fine, but, like, they're just going to have way better creatures. So it's basically just making chump blockers, and it's just a more expensive Bitter Blossom at that point. Okay, no place for the first 2 turns, but we'll keep this. Kaya on 3 will hopefully put in some work, and Glenn can counter their Mindslaver. Oh, that's, I mean, yeah, we're just dead. I can't really imagine the way we ever beat that, unless, like, yeah, I mean, that's just gonna win. It's super, super good against our deck. So now they play land 1-drop, and we can eat their 1-drop, but then they'll just draw another card. Oh. Okay, Mother of Runes is a good thing to Kaya. I would love to get the Thief of Sanity into play, but I think we need to get Kaya first. Like, otherwise, all of our removal will be turned off for the rest of the game, and that's just not something we can tolerate. But yeah, I mean, we've already lost. Like, Library just is so unbelievably. I mean, we haven't lost, obviously, but like, Library just broken in half here. Like, they'll draw like 6 cards with it at no cost, and meanwhile, we're trying like 2-for-1 them. So, Grim Monolith here. Wall of Roots. Okay, that's, I mean, we can't Kaya that, which is annoying. Hopefully we draw land. Oof. I mean, that's a fine draw, but there's a chance Thief of Sanity can put in some good work. Nothing next shot with Kaya, so we'll just gain the loyalty. We haven't seen enough of their deck to really know if they have solid removal. If they don't, this Thief will be good. I mean, it'll draw 2 cards a turn also. It is pretty brutal to miss our land drop there, but like, we do have good plays still. And this can catch up if we fall behind, so we'll see. But like, as long as they just stay on the library plan, they'll just always have gas, and they'll probably keep in land drops so they can just deploy a lot of threats whenever they decide it's time to go off the plan. So yeah, library is just so good. We've had a lot of mana problems this game, which is pretty frustrating. Jite. Okay. Nice. That's a good draw. So first we're going to hit with this. See what we find. Also, Deep Shadow doesn't do too much. I mean, the Jite is annoying here. I don't really want to path their thing just to ramp them when they're drawing so many cards, but I also do want to keep this Thief of Sanity in play. So I think that's, or actually no, here's what we're going to do. We will take Vivian, and then play Souls, and then path our own token to prevent the GT counters and build up towards like being able to use Vivian well. Get that life gain value. So they're almost definitely going to go for GT, and this I think this play will be pretty good. It'll catch us up on mana, get us our second blue, and likely guarantee that we can get our next Thief hit in. Our plan is good. We're going to cast this in the very late game, ideally. Like, I think we just want to wait as long as possible. Ideally, they're off the library plan by the time we cast this, because sweepers are way worse if they can immediately just, like, replace their board. And so we want them to be in a position where they don't have 7 or 8 cards when we do that. Yep. Yep, that's 5 cards they've drawn now. Equipping the Jite. Yep. I mean, we could also just kill it and trade, but I don't think that. I mean, that's not really a trade because they're also killing our Thief, and I think our Thief is pretty important to our game plan here. Like, if they're drawing 2 cards a turn, we need to also be drawing 2 cards a turn. And Thief, let's just do that. So we will grab this island. 2 weird decks in a row. You don't really see, like, green decks with a lot of splashes very often, and they tend to be pretty bad, but they've definitely looked good here. The Mox too. Okay, Yavimaya Elder's fine. They already have infinite cards, so that doesn't do too much. We can eat the Mox if we want to. We're definitely going to start with attacking with Thief. Okay, Natural Order is not looking too good, but we can cast Knight, which is something at least. I think it is probably worth exiling this Mox. Like, I don't know what their deck looks like exactly, but they could be going up pretty high on mana. And then we can't really do anything to protect our Thief unless we sweep, but that is definitely not a winning proposition. So I think we're just going to get a Planeswalker down. This Ancestral is looking pretty bad. And so yeah, I mean, they can kill the Thief, but we're still, like, gaining some consistent value. Flutterstrand on top. It's actually not the worst draw. I mean, it does give us another card in the graveyard for Dig. I don't think we care about Reach. We definitely don't care about Trample, so I think we're going to give Vigilance. We could have also just attacked for the Spirit, but with the GT, they have enough life gain that I don't really think that we can, like, beat them down. Like, that GT and Library are a good combo because GT sort of ensures that you can maintain your life total, and Library ensures that you can maintain your card advantage, so that's pretty good. The only real way to beat that is to have a better board advantage, which we are sort of trying to press with these Planeswalkers. Glenn is very bad against GT, unfortunately. Hopefully we can find that disenchant soon. Or something sweet from them. I guess milling them is an option. Thief goes through 3 cards every time, like, and they're sort of going through 5 cards a turn right now. I mean, that'll end when we get rid of the Thief, but like right now they're drawing 2 cards, and we're getting rid of 3 cards on our end. If they attack with a Fiend Artisan, it's not the end of the world. Like, we are going to get to kill it, and then, we can exile it with Kaya, and still have a decent board. Like, we'll lose our Thief, but we'll still have some stuff going, and we still have this sweep in our back pocket for when we need it. If they don't have Craterhoof in their deck, we could definitely just run them out of threats. Sort of wait for them to get a big board, then sweep it away. We're gaining life the whole time. And yeah, in the unlikely event that we get another hit in the Thief, that could put in some work. Although, the fact that they have Natural Order in their deck is a pretty strong sign that they have some huge green stuff. Like, hopefully it's just like a Terracodon and not a Craterhoof, but, I mean, even Terracodon is pretty strong. I really wish we had some mind control effects in this matchup. Yeah, if we could just, like, Treachery something, that would be pretty sweet. Interesting. Okay. Well, at least they don't get to draw a card here. So we're obviously blocking. The question is if we want to block with a Beast or the Spirit, and I think we want to do the Beast. They are pretty much priced into using 2 counters on this Thief. I mean, they could use their 2 counters to kill our Spirit and our Beast, but that's great for us if they do that. So, yeah, I think there's no need to lose the Spirit here. This also does give them the temptation of playing wrong and not killing our Thief. But even if they do kill the Thief at this point, it has put in some good work. It's milled through 6 cards of their deck and given us 2 plays, and Vivian in particular is good. They could be sacking the Wall of Roots. I wonder what they're getting with that. For 3. Arbrelf was okay. Sure. That we can just Kaya. So we're just gonna immediately go to combat and hope they don't kill our Thief. Do we want to send in this Spirit? I think we do. We have blockers either way. No, they found the line. Alright, so thief down. Definitely correct play on our opponent's part. We will Kaya to take out their elf. You can see how good this Kaya's been. It's already taken out 3 mana sources, gained us some life, and it can also put some work in on this graveyard soon. Oh, I didn't even focus on the fact that we have a Scarab God on top of our library. That's sweet. We can also Vivian minus to get a creature. What would be a creature to get there? Kiteshell Freebooter isn't too impressive. It might just be better to make another 3/3. Man, I really don't remember our deck that well. We don't have like a Solemn or anything. Glenn would be good, but that's in our hand, unfortunately. Thief Ascending would be fine, but that's gone. So I think we're just gonna plus the Vivian. Okay, don't really want to draw that, so I think we'll just fetch and spend this Ancestral. We can use the hidden mode of Ancestral, which is to make them draw 3 cards potentially. Let's see. Oh, we can look at our deck now. I guess we could have gotten a Wall of Omens. But yeah, nothing really. So definitely a good call to take the line we did. We'll just take a Tundra. We already have non-basics. Alright, Swamp on top is not ideal, but not the end of the world. We get another Vigilance Lad. Alright, we're actually in pretty good position here now against the library. We've definitely been able to perform better than I would have anticipated. Man, I'm really... Oh, wow. Okay, sure. I guess they didn't want to show us what their natural order targets were. Well, beating a turn 1 library is an accomplishment for a control deck, for sure. Getting their Vivian was huge. Okay. Land tax on the draw. We forgot to do that in game 1, but we should have. Do we want to bring in this Hellish Norn? It does look like they don't have much removal. I think this card is actually going to be pretty good. Yeah, I think we're just going to cut Bitter Blossom for Hellish Norn on the draw and cut a Swamp. We still want Islands to have turn 1 Ancestral, and we definitely don't want to cut Plains because we do want to have our land tax. Let's see, we have 5, 6, 7, 8 white sources. So it'll be pretty awkward if we just get mana screwed because we don't have white and land, and we have a land tax, but I think this is okay. Yeah, we'll run this. It is also nice that they didn't see our board sweeper, so hopefully they will not play around it and we can use it to good effect in this game 3. Ancestral or land tax on one. Come on, let's have one of those. Alright, neither of those, but great hand. Leak into Thief can be very good. We have Council of Judgment to deal with a Planeswalker, GT, I mean, maybe a creature, so very, very happy with this, and we can still draw one of our 2. Oh, no, not like this. Okay, that's not the scariest turn 1 play. I mean, it's definitely good, but yeah, now they just have 5 mana next turn, and we have 1. Kaya can exile that, but that'll be too late, almost definitely. I mean, if they don't have, like, there's a slim chance they'll just have a mana dude this turn, and then we can leak something the following turn, but they could also just play Vivian and just absolutely crush us. I mean, I guess we still have Council Judgment. Whisperwood, that's bad. So, they're going to hit us for 6 next turn, and then they'll still have 2 2/2s at the end of this. Oh, come on, land tax, really? I mean, yeah, I think we need to hold up mana leak now. As much as I would love to get the land tax in play. And then next turn, so hopefully we can leak something, and then Council Judgment, the Whisperwood, and then Lingering Souls to trade with the tokens. And if they only have one more good card that we can leak this turn, we're actually in maybe okay position, because Kaya can also deal with these manifests. We really want them to gem a Planeswalker here. Please cast something. Please. Nacho Mancer. Cool, Avatar. They're thinking hard. This is such a, like, imagine if we were on the play this game. We just have counterspell or mana leak for their Whisperwood, untap, Kaya, exile their mana crypt, and then they're just so dead. Like at that point, we're like 95% to win. But since we were on the draw, we're gonna be facing down 8 power, and we still can't deal with their mana crypt. Nice. That is beautiful. We are under a lot of pressure though. Like they'll have 4 power, and we will have 14 life. So, all right, that's maybe that could become good. But for starters, we definitely just need to do this. Hopefully, they sack this in response. They found the line. So pretty much any follow-up will kill us here. We don't have land or board sweeper, so we're nowhere close to doing that. But if they just have lands in hand, we could beat the board. Or if they just have like, I mean, it's definitely possible they have like 2 lands and a ramp spell or something. I mean, they also could just have good stuff to flip up with these manifest tokens. Alright, fall to 10. Don't play anything, please, please, please. Okay, that's, I mean, yeah, that's good. No, we're going to lose. Definitely going to lose. Bummer. And we missed our land drop. Is there any way we could win? I guess we'll just Kaya. That saves some life. And I don't think it's going to get better than that. Yeah, I mean, if we had drawn a land there, we would have a chance. But we definitely can't win now. Man, very, very consistently we've had mountain problems. I think I am going to add an 18th land. Like, granted, like, I realize you shouldn't make your choices based on, like, anecdotal stuff like that. Anecdotes have no power. But I do think this is a very mana-hungry deck. And we're 3 colors. We have a lot of ways to use mana. And also just, like, from a fun perspective, I hate Mana Screw a million times more than Mana Flood. Like, I just despise missing land drops. Okay, is there any way we can win this? No, they can just kill our tokens, so, yeah. Alright, well, frustrating game. Very big play draw difference there for sure. And I do think I'm going to add an 18th land. When you have a 3-color deck, like, I think honestly 18 lands is correct a lot of the times. I mean, you know, before we get mana flooded, we'll bring in a port so that it has an effect. But I think this is probably correct. And then cut Bitter Blossom. It's good against control mirrors, but I think we're already going to be pretty good against control mirrors. And it's pretty bad against like aggressive decks or things like that. And we have a lot of 2-mana plays already. Well, awkward colored mana situation, but I'm not going to ship a turn 1 Ancestral. Hopefully we can find a plane soon. Man, another green deck. That's annoying. I mean, I don't think that's a particularly good or bad matchup. It's just, I want to try something else. Path was a pretty bad draw, but if we do draw planes, we can path our wall to find black. No refellers, please. Okay. I mean, they're ramping hard. Planes. Come on, planes. Well, yet again, we're having mana issues. It's really just been about that pretty much every single game that we've struggled in. And we have solid fixing, so it seems pretty like a little bit unlucky that we've had so much mana screw / mana color issues, but that's Magic sometimes. Hopefully we can draw out of it soon. We are definitely representing counterspell, so hopefully our opponent takes heed of that and doesn't play anything. Ooh, Cradle. Okay. In these situations, I like to sort of, do we want to counter this? You can only do that when you have an instant play, but it sort of says that you're thinking and then decide not to counter it because we're going to save our counterspell that we certainly have for a better thing. And now we've sort of established that we have a counterspell. It'll be annoying if we just draw a mana leak now, but that could potentially give us some value or like just buy us some time. Come on, land. Are you kidding me? I should have specified. Well, the only thing that suggests counterspell more than double blue is triple blue, so they must be quaking in their boots over there. Man, they're just jamming into it. That's really bad, because that almost definitely means they have more stuff. Hopefully it's a Worm Coil, not a Primeval Titan. Oof. That's bad. I mean, that gives them like infinite mana with Gaia's Cradle, so there's a lot of things that we just die to here. Like, if we draw a path, the creatures don't actually do anything, or if we draw a plains. Come on, White Source. Okay. Finally. Alright, we are gonna just path this. I think we're gonna draw step it because we want them to draw land, and in mono green, there's no real way we can get punished for this. But I mean, yeah, there's a decent chance they'll just Crater Hoof and kill us. Like, they have so much mana now. So Crater or Gaia's Cradle taps for 6, 10, 11, 12. $13. I mean, that's good. We definitely wanted them to have a land there. We do not want them to be tapping their Gaia's Cradle. Oh, yeah, Crater Hoof. GG. Oh, Ugin. A Ulamog. What can we beat that cost 11? Like, Walking Ballista is not ECD-able. Oh, hopefully they're playing Blightsteel Colossus. That would be ideal. We draw plains. Oh, 13 mana. Stonecoil Serpent. Playing around days, it looks like. Could also just be a Finale of Devastation, which would definitely kill us. Man, so much suspense. They're really taking a while to tap all their mana here. It does look like it's an Expel though, so it's not a good sign. Maybe just Green Suns for Crater Hoof. Alright, we'll see if they have the Crater Hoof. I mean, like, Woodfall Primus, we could... That's probably best case scenario. Alright, sounds good. I mean, it's annoying that they take us off of white, but we're about to draw a bunch of cards, so we'll probably draw into more colored mana, and this isn't a fast clock. Like, they can hit us for 6, but then we can just Elspeth Conquers Death. And we can also, if we draw a White Source, we can just play Wall, Chump, and then get that back with the ECD. Well, not exactly how we drew it up. Man, our mana situation is so bad. I mean, yeah, we don't really... There's no spells we can cast if we play an island, so we'll just play Courtyard and pass. That's just so awkward. I mean, I guess we could play island and then end of turn dig with the card that we're discarding, but, like, we need to have non-blue mana. Jeez. Yeah, just literally all mana every single time with this deck. Alright, we'll discard Elspeth Knight Errant because that's a nice thing to bring back with Elspeth Conquers Death. It also has the flavor win. So we take 7, fall to 9. If they don't have any follow-ups and we draw a White Source, we're okay. But, man, yeah, these islands just will not leave us alone. Okay, so now we're just dead, right? Like, we sort of have to Elspeth Conquers Death that. So we're going to... Yeah, that definitely killed us. Man, frustrating game. With just the mana working so horribly. Good to know about the Ugin. Not very good against our deck. I mean, the ultimate's scary, but it can't really mine us to do too much damage to us. What is this? Another thing? that's that one's gonna do it. Man, that was just brutal. 5 islands and like no colored mana. How many islands do we have? We literally have 5 islands. We drew every single basic island in our deck. That's just sucks. I don't think that's like a deck building flaw. That is just really bad luck. Another matchup where Elishnorn looks solid. Disenchant looks pretty medium here. Like, Disenchant is at its best when you can be hitting their mana, but they have a lot of mana that's not hittable with that, so we'll do this. I'm scared we're gonna Island Flood again, but I think this is the right build. Okay, good colored mana. Ooh, good colored mana. Elishnorn is not a card we want in the opener at all, but I don't think we can ship this. Turn 2 mana leak, board sweeper, solid 5 mana threat. We don't have any like card draw or sort of way to like bridge the gap to these things, but this is still definitely a keep. I think best draw is still just Ancestral. Turn 2 Ancestral is way worse, but we would still do that. Okay, I think we're just gonna do that rather than hold up mana leak. Like we're not really. We'd rather fight their bombs than their mana, especially since this will probably sweep up a lot of their mana. All right, Signet. I mean, I guess right now, Elishnorn is looking a lot worse than Disenchant. We'll see. There's a chance Elishnorn ends up being very good later in the game, so we'll see how that plays out. Whoa. They have a lot of big stuff here. Mana Leak is looking like it's going to be pretty strong. They have 2 removal spells, so no matter what, they're just going to kill our Kitesail Freebooter. So I guess which one would you rather them have after the Kitesail Freebooter goes down? Probably Dismember because it cannot kill Elishnorn. So we'll take the Dismember, and they have to use Heartless Act to get back the Dismember. We could Mana Leak that, but I'd look at their hand. Like, we have bigger fish to fry than these little removal spells. Any land is the best draw. Ideally untapped, but we would take a tap land too. Nice. So if we just jam the Scarab God, like they'll just line up. Like, I mean, they can kill it, but that's still fine. It'll come back to our hand, and they could have drawn something we care about, but it's pretty unlikely that we'll like really need Mana Leak this turn. Plus, we can make another freebooter if they kill our Kitesail Freebooter with a Scarab. Or yeah, Scarab God can make a 4/4 flying freebooter. Also, it adds instant speed, so we can draw step them. Interesting. No removal spell there. Okay, so they did draw another land. They still have 1 unknown. Alright, I mean, as long as they just, like, this is fine. We'll just play draw go while we have Mana Leak and we have a board and they don't. Like, I mean, I guess I understand why they're not thrilled about just blowing these removal spells for basically no value. Or, okay, it looks like they are doing that now. So Heartless Act the Scarab God, I guess? No, Heartless Act that. Sure. Definitely not Mana Leaking that. So, I think we're just gonna... Oh, are they gonna kill that now? Interesting. So they're dismembering our Scarab God. I do want to hold up Mana Leak ideally this turn, but I still can't play any of the things we know about. So I think we are just going to make a Kitesail Freebooter here. We can also scry 1, which is nice. Help us find that land for the Mana Leak. I mean, yeah, we could Mana Leak this, but don't really care about that. Perfect Instancify Scarab God is just amazing. I mean, it already is trading with a removal spell, but it's coming back to our hand, and it's made a dude. And the dude it's made has a very important effect. So they just have a land, plus what we already knew about. Taking the only card we can. Then our Scarab God dies, but we can recast it next turn. And we scry 1 and hit them for 1. That's interesting. I actually think we... well, their life total is a little low. I think we are going to take this. The game, I don't think we're, like, really trying to aggro them out. I think the game will last until this comes back, and, like, we have perfect mana for it. I mean, we could end up getting punished for this, but I think it's fine. Uh-oh, they drew a spell. Thran Dynamo? Okay. Well, now we can't mana leak their Avenger. We can kill the Avenger and all the tokens, but they might just go for Blightsteel. Let's see, they have 3, 4, 8, no, oh, they're nowhere even close to Blightsteel, so. Alright, can't cast that. The question is if we want to hold up Leak or play Scarab God, and I think we just want to play the Scarab God. Yeah, I mean, we can't leak this already if they have a land, and, like, well, yeah, no, we do want to do this. Like, I guess the worst case scenario is they go Avenger, land, and then we can still just kill everything. Plus, we just, like, have a good board. They can hold back the tokens for a while. If they have Gaia's Cradle, then we sort of regret it, but still, we can always just clean that all up. And then, eventually, Scarab God can make an Avenger for us, which will be pretty sweet. Also, we actually do have them on 2-turn clock now that I think about it, because they take 1 from the Scarab God trigger. It makes them zombies when they come back, so they will take 1 life or 1 damage, and they will lose 1 life. Sometimes the difference between losing life and taking damage does matter. It won't here, but it can. We would like to draw land, but if we don't, we still have plays. I do think that Disenchant is looking a bit better than we initially gave credit for. Man, we went up to 18 lands and we still want to be drawing land or still missing land drops. Alright, opponent was deep in thought. It looks like they're casting a spell now. Ooh. Okay, that could be annoying. We can scry that to the bottom if we want to. Like, we do want to draw land, and it's sort of a land. We would rather a white source. Fellows. So, let's see. With the Refellos, they can make 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 mana. So, they can maybe cast the Blightsteel. I mean, we do actually, no. Yeah, we just need the bottom of the Mirror Signet now. Like, we have a good answer to the Blightsteel Colossus. Oh, what? Oh, I guess, yeah, they realized that we had them on the 2-turn clock. Okay, cool. So, weird game there. Didn't really, I don't know, we didn't do that much. I mean, I guess we just played a Scarab God, and that was pretty much good enough. Removal spells are not good against us. I don't know why they have both of these in their deck. I mean, maybe they don't have stuff to bring in, but this is our 3rd consecutive green, but not mono green deck. Weird. Okay, Port is a little bit less impressive just in this matchup generally, and especially on the draw, so definitely feel okay cutting that for land tax. And I think we'll just bring in the Disenchant. It had, like, the Thran Dynamo is a great target for it. I mean, we could bring in Balance, but I think this is what we want to do, especially on the draw. And we'll run this. 17 lands plus land tax. Can we finally get mana flooded once? We haven't got mana flooded a single time this whole series. No mana flood, but great hand. I mean, we have no blue now, but the land tax will find us a blue. Land tax is going to be amazing here. Oh no, are they going to Thoughtseize our land tax? Okay, sure. Alright, remember game one when we had 5 basic islands and no other sources? Why variance? Why? But yeah, I mean, like I said, this land tax could just get us 3 islands here. It's always sort of weird with land tax. I never really know what to do in terms of like, do you just get 3 lands and discard a bunch of stuff to hand size or not? I think if you're in a stage where you like have bad cards or like you really don't want to draw lands anymore, I think it can be right to just do that. But I think here we're gonna get 2 islands and not discard to hand size. Um, Although I guess we do want to fuel dig. Maybe we should just get 3. Hmm. Yeah, I think I am just gonna get 3 lands. We don't really. Probably the worst land for us is a swamp here. So I think we'll just get 2 islands and a swamp, and play an island and discard a swamp. Oh, wait, we're discarding 2 cards. Okay, yeah. I mean, annoying that we just took out 2 lands and still drew a land, but this is fine. So we'll just go to discard and pitch a swamp and a godless shrine. Now we still have mana up to 5. Um, we'll definitely mana leak over remand whatever they play. Like, we just want to trade down cards right now. Love this card. Like, imagine how bad this situation would have been if we didn't have that. Like, you draw a Godless Shrine, still no blue swords, you don't have a counter up. I mean, this land tax would have been a Rishadan port. I guess we could have just played another island, but I don't think that's really what we'd want to do. If we can't leak something, we will just remand basically anything. But hopefully we can get the leak to work. Oh, is this a... Oh, no. Okay, nice. Just thinking they could be doing Green Suns for Fellows, but... Are they just not casting anything? Okay. In general, playing spells post-combat is probably right, but did not work out here. Ooh, okay, that actually we will remand. That's a great target to remand, because now if they want to cast it again, we can just leak it and just continue to get value. Are you kidding me? Alright, definitely just searching for 3 lands here. We just want to take lands out of our deck. I think. Actually, yeah, we do want to do that. Actually, no, we don't, because we don't want to like discard a bunch of lands to hand size and have no lands left in our deck. So we're just gonna get 1 plains. But again, like I have no idea what is actually right here. Okay, that's unfortunate that we don't have 1 more mana. I would love to be able to disenchant that, but that cannot happen here. So we'll just go to discard, pitch an island, and then leak their natural order, and then disenchant their Golgari Signet, and we'll really put them back on mana. Man, I love... There's another perfect illustration of counterspells being a 2-for-1. Ooh, okay, that we don't care about. Although, I think we might rather disenchant that, actually, than the Signet. Although, no, we're just going to hit their Signet still if they're missing their land drop. Oh, I wonder if they're playing around land tax, actually. But even if they are, that's fine. I think we'd rather hold up, Leak than play Teferi here. Next time we can go Teferi plus Leak if we want to. And I mean, we know they have a good card. Like, Woodfall Primus wouldn't be horrible here. I mean, we could just bounce it and then they can't replay it for a while, but it'd still be a bit annoying. Yeah, in this spot, like, I'm pretty happy we didn't just, like, dump a bunch of lands into our graveyard on that last run of land tax, because, like, we don't want to just only have these 6 lands and nothing else for the rest of the game. And if we had, like, basically no lands left in our deck, that's pretty likely to be the case. So, tapping 3 mana. Okay, Green Suns for Fellows. I think we're going to let this resolve and then just Karakas that. It's also sort of weird dance with Karakas in general, because you, like, I mean, it would be nice if we could end a turn bounce their Fellows, but they also just wouldn't have played into this. So that's not real. Like those aren't really the two options. Of like bouncing end of turn like that. That would just never happen. So pretty good value there. That Rafellis will just be a non-threat because of this Caracas. And again, like we could play Elspeth, but I don't think that really accomplishes too much. And I mean, they could just Woodfall Primus it. Our life total is beginning to get to be a bit of an issue, but I don't think it's too bad. Especially since we can just play Elspeth and make a token. Oh, okay. If they're doing that, then we can't Elspeth, but that's fine. So, all right, that's not gonna be good here. We're just gonna play Teferi, bounce their Dryad. They can attack the Dryad down to the land, or the Teferi down to the Land World if they want to, but that's not too bad. Ooh, Dig is a good one. Unfortunately, we cannot cast it here because we discarded our islands, but I mean, that was right. I think we want double black more than triple blue. And actually, even if we had blue, we were one short of being able to play a Dig. So now we want to draw lands again, so hopefully we can do that. To ferry down. If we draw land, we can go Gideon minus on the Llanowar Elves and hold up Mana Leak. If we don't, man, they just keep on tapping our Caracas. I mean, it's like feels semi-annoying from our perspective, but it's obviously a very good exchange for us. So we could dig for a blue source, but I think I like just suspending vision here. I don't want to risk not having a blue source and then them getting to do the natural order. And like this game is going long, so we'll have time to capitalize on those cards. All right, Mystic, sure. And then Rafellis again. Sure. We'll just keep bouncing it. Every single time we're gaining 1 mana on them. And we already have a mana advantage. Land. Oh, come on. I mean, we did purposely put some lands in the graveyard, so there's that, but that's not right. Yeah, definitely leaving a double blue here so we can end a turn dig. Alright, if you don't have land, you must have a lot of spells. Okay, again, I mean, yeah, they do have a lot of gas. We're just going to Dismember again here for the same reason, and it's also a 1 mana play, which is very relevant when they are constrained on mana. So they can play, they could play a Biogenic Ooze. Okay, they finally hit a land. So they have 6 mana. We would probably leak a Biogenic Ooze, although it is annoying. Path is looking weak. We definitely don't want to be giving them mana at this stage when they have so many spells in their hand. Although a lot of their cards don't actually do anything. They're a million miles from Blightsteel. I wonder if they have Channel. Dryad doesn't do anything. Heartless Act doesn't do anything. Rafellis doesn't do anything. So it's really just Natural Order and Biogenic Ooze. So do we counter this and let them have a Natural Order? Natural Order can find Woodfall Primus or Avenger of Zendikar. I don't want to path the Biogenic Ooze. Our life total is low. I think we actually are going to leak this, even though I would love to not do that. Well, it's so close. We could also just dig. But we're also getting to the point where we can't even leak their natural order. So I do think we're just going to counter this. Okay, so that's gone. They still have the natural order. And nice. think we're going to tap like this and play Gideon and kill their elf. I guess it's close between holding up second island for dig and holding up Caracas for no attack here, for path slash Caracas. I think this is a bit better though, because if they do play natural order and get the Avenger, we want to path it with the trigger on the stack. Like, I don't want to give them a land, but it's not too bad, and like they're still, it doesn't really facilitate anything for them. And if they can put like a counter on all of their dudes, that's much more annoying for pressuring Elspeth or Gideon and like just making them real creatures. I don't really get this card, to be honest. Like, what's its role in the cube? It's just so much worse than Courser and Oracle. I mean, it fixes your mana, and it's cool with Golos, but like, it just do nothing for them here. Alright, they get their natural order. They were very patient with it, and it finally worked, but we'll see if it actually pays off, or if it just doesn't do anything anymore. Like, they can get Whipfall and kill Gideon. That's probably what they're doing. Oh, Caracas, interesting. I think we are just going to path here in response. Like, what happens here? So at the end of this exchange, they spent a natural order and a land of our elves. And they got a land and killed one of our lands. And we spent a spell. So actually, at the end, it's sort of like a 2 for 3. Like, they end up +1 card. But they also spend a lot more mana than we did, and we're just ahead to begin with, so I think it's still a pretty good position for us. So, frustratingly, this Gideon is not indestructible when it's a creature. It's the only one that's like that. So they can Heartless Act it, but luckily they don't have mana for it. So, right now we're free to attack. Alright, do we want to play Scarab God or Elspeth? Plus Dig. I think Elspeth plus Dig, just like, I mean, they'll Scarab God, or they'll probably Heartless Act the Scarab God if we play it. So it's not like we can just guarantee making a Biogenic Ooze next turn. And I think getting some Planeswalkers down on the board is good. So we'll do this. We could also put them on a 2-turn clock. Hit them for 10. But we know they have a Heartless Act, so I think a token is going to be better. Oh, it's obviously, in this case, it doesn't matter, but this is actually decent against other Gideons too, because you can remove 3 loyalty counters from them sometimes. Alright, so I'm feeling good about this one. Yeah, I think we'll be able to get that 2-1. Still, I mean, it feels like we could have won 3-0 if we had just like drawn a little bit more reasonably last round, but that's how it goes sometimes. Alright, so we know their whole hand. Their whole hand we don't care about. I mean, they had this Blightsteel, but we should be able to find an answer to that with all this stuff. So we only have Elspeth Conquers Death for stuff that cares about the graveyard, so we'll just leave. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. Alright, so looking for an answer to Blightsteel. Elspeth Conquers Death, perfect. And Shinobi just is a good card, so I think we'll take those two. That seems pretty easy. Oh, actually, they do have Heartless Act for the Shinobi. I think this is the turn this comes off. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we're just going to put Glenn into play. I think that'll pretty much seal this one up. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we could Shinobi, but there's sort of that defeats the purpose of playing Glenn in the first place. So we'll get this into play. They can kill something in response if they want, but otherwise this Heartless Act won't do anything. We will turn this into a creature. Give it flying with Elspeth and hit them for 10 in the air. Obviously, if we knew we were going to be playing Glenn, like, we could have had lethal, but like, we're not going to assume we're going to draw Glenn. Like, obviously, that's just a great draw, and it's pretty stupid to assume you're going to draw well when you're already ahead. This is not like the most high-level concept, but in general, you play very aggressively when you're behind and very conservatively when you're ahead, and that's just like a good general practice. Like here, we can afford to play around like weird corner case scenarios because our position is so good. But like if we were way behind, we sort of have to just play like they have nothing and our top 5 cards are all perfect, and that's really your only idea thing. Oh, I just realized this is sort of fun in blue-black control deck if you have Glen. You can remove your counter and keep on countering stuff. But obviously they don't want our Glen to have no counters. So we'll do this, hit them, and I can't really imagine a way that we lose from this position. I'd love to be able to play Lingering Souls, but we want to hold up the Glen activation. Alright, got him down to 3. They get a land. Is there anything they can do? Like, I guess Craterhoof would kill us, I think. Yeah, maybe we should have played around Craterhoof, actually. If they go land Craterhoof and have 2 attackers, they would be 7 power and 4 power, so that's 11. Oh no, so we'd go to 1, exactly. That's perfect. That was lucky that it's not like I planned that out, but yeah. And then certainly if they have to tap the Raphaelos, it wouldn't work. I guess if they had Finale of Devastation, that would kill us. Oh no, we have Glen. Yeah, I don't think there's any way we lose this one. And play Blightsteel, but Blightsteel will not do it. I wonder if anyone's ever lost a game because they chump blocked Blightsteel with a Glenalandra and were assuming it was going to come back and didn't realize that that wouldn't work because, in fact, this does have counters on it when it dies. Well, looks like we're going to get that 2-1. Highlight of the draft, definitely that Shinobi hit in round 1. Taking their Craterhoof and Golos was so sweet when we were really far behind. And yeah, just really did not think we were going to win that one. But we did win that one. So that's pretty sweet. Got the 2-1. Not the best result. And like the deck was fine. I mean, solid 7, like I said. But it was pretty cool. I had fun. It was missing power, and it was missing 1-drops, and it was missing good mana. I mean, yeah, we really most of the games we lost were to mana issues. So yeah, don't skip on your lands, kids. That's a really important lesson. I mean, we even had solid fixing, but yeah, 2-1. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, hope to see you sometime soon.